Good day and thank you for joining us. I am Williams Usewezina. And right here with me is a Nigerian lawmaker, Honorable Kalejaiye Adeboye Paul, PhD. He's representing the Ajeromi Ifelodun Federal Constituency in Lagos State. And we'll be talking about different issues in Nigeria today. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
My pleasure being here.
Let's get right into today's business. So, from the look of things, many Nigerians are struggling with the current economy. Rising prices, even in December, we saw the price of fuel come down, yet transportation cost was going up. And many people are concerned. From your position in the House as a lawmaker, how would you describe the current state of Nigeria's economy?
Thank you once again. Let me lay this as a background to say that man struggles from birth to death, from cradle to grave. When there are no more struggles for mankind, then the world has ended. So the idea to say that Nigerians are struggling with the economy is to say the obvious, that for any given society, whether developed, underdeveloping, or underdeveloped nations, you will all face the challenges of life and basically economy.
Yes.
Because economy dictates virtually everything.
Yes.
And economy talks about earning a living.
Of course.
Economy talks about going into business ventures. Economy talks about, wanting to have enough and sufficiency to be able to cope with daily livelihood and cope with the future. So obviously, with all the presence, tomorrow belongs to God. And so for us to really talk about the struggling economy is to say that we're looking at the globe as an entity. Tell me one nation of the world that is not struggling with the economy. America is battling with its own economy. America is virtually turning the entire world upside down, all for economic gain. Today you have immigration laws. Mm-hmm. Today you have restrictions of trade. Yeah. Today you have, all manner of regulations, all aiming at making America to be very rich and prosperous. Same to Nigeria. We must also rise up to the challenging economy and ensure that we're able to cope. And in doing that, issues of price mechanism will come in. Issues of price stabilization will come in. Issues of price determination will come in. Now, how well are we able to cope with all of these dynamics? It will now determine how we survive as a nation. Yes. I agree with you that we are struggling, and I have no doubt about that. But I'm saying that it's just a normal thing that we must all struggle. So, but then in doing that, I know there are pains and gains of such struggles. The pains may appear outweighing the gains, as it were, in the country today. Because Nigeria also is undergoing a lot of reforms. Yes. And there is no country all over the world that has survived without going through reforms. Yes. Reforms are necessary ingredients for us to propel a country forward. Even a home. In your home, you also undergo reforms. Father and mother must undergo reforms to be able to protect the children, to be able to make the children have good education, to be able to have the children have a better life. So in doing all of these things, it will appear as if when you ask your child to wake him or her up at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m., he or she is probably catching the best of the sleep. Waking him up at that hour is a disturbance.
Yes.
But why are you waking him up at that hour? Because you want him or her to get ready for school. And in doing that, even in the cost of transportation, to school, the child undergoes some challenges. In the initial setup, it's like a disturbance, a worry.
Yeah.
So the child feels that I'm being overburdened. Sometimes when we were younger, when they ask us to go to school, they have to cane us to go to school.
Yes. Almost drag you out of bed.
We see it as something disturbing, as something unnecessary. But today we are better off.
Yeah.
When you now get educated, you get good job, you do well, then you start enjoying, then you say, oh, many people who have abused their teachers when they're in school, when they see their teachers later in life, they say, thank you, sir, for training me. So that's what is going on in Nigeria today.
Well, thank you so much. Do you think that the reforms would have immediate effect on unemployment?
What do you call unemployment?
The number of persons that don't have daily job.
You know, I read in the Bible as a young growing person, and I read a portion of the Bible that say, the laborers are few, but the work is plenty. And I started asking myself, how can the Bible say the laborers are few and the work is, when there is massive unemployment? So what is the correlation between the laborers are few, the work is plenty? But over time, as an employer of labor, when I grew up to become an employer of labor, I understand what the Bible was saying. It will say that it's not that there is no work for people to do. It is because people are choosy. Some people have decided not to work. Some people don't want to labor. Some people don't want to grow, they want to blow.
Yes.
So it
Want
depends
to
on
blow.
the dimension when you are coming in.
Yeah.
In this my entire compound, my premises, there are so much work to be done. But the laborers are few. Because how many people wants to work to earn a good living? Some are either lazy, or some are lukewarm, or some will complain at every little thing. They are sick, they are whatever. So what I'm saying is that the economy will appear to affect the employment rates. But you see, people triumph in the midst of challenges.
Yes.
If the pipe-borne water were running good enough, and the waters are clean, there will be no need for pure water manufacturing companies to survive. People tap into the failure of the system to make economic gains. So your inability to tap into the shortcomings of the system and turn it to economic well-being, it's our problem. Today, the roads are not properly fixed, and that's why you have problems of hold up and whatever.
Even accidents.
But the question remains, when the roads are fixed and people traffic on the road and they overspeed, they cause accidents.
Yes.
So it's either way. How cautious do we use our roads? Even the ones that are fixed, how well do we ensure that, look, I'm surrounded by gutters, by drainages, by whatever around me here. Haven't you seen people throw in front of their shop? Haven't you seen people throw dirt into the gutter, into the drainage?
Yes. Yeah.
Who blocks the drainage? We are. So what I'm trying to say is that there is no perfect system anywhere in the world, except the way you manage your own system. The way the developed countries manage their own is the way they have found it. The way we manage our own is the way we have found it. How many countries of the world survive under a mono economy? I ask you.
Hardly.
You have to be a multi-dimensional economy.
Yes.
when this one is failing, the other one is working.
Yeah, like a portfolio.
Like a portfolio. So, but we have over the years depended on a mono economy, the oil economy. And every attempt, have you forgotten how we grew up as a Nigerian country? How the groundnut pyramid, how the cocoa plantation,
yes,
how the oil plantation. Have you forgotten that the Singapore today is self-sufficient in terms of palm oil production? I was in Singapore, I was in Malaysia, and I went to the Malaysia library, and I saw the sample of the cocoa that was taken away from the
palm nuts,
palm
palm
that
nuts,
was taken
yes,
away from Nigeria. Today, they are one of the largest producers of palm oil. Where are we? So, and at every stage of life, we abandon every system that we are trying to grow. When the developed world were done with us using us as slaves, they came under pretense of religion and said they were abolishing slave trade. That is an inhuman trade. But when they were making money from our slaves, it was not inhuman. But as soon as they were done with us, they started the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution now made a mess and they no longer needed slaves. And they were looking for how to dump the slaves back to where they are coming from. They are no longer useful. They have sucked the orange. They want to throw away the carcass. And so they started the Industrial Revolution. And then also when we started growing up, we felt that as a nation, what we should first do is industrialization. We're back on industrialization. As we are trying to perfect industrialization, they moved away from industrialization. They went to a market-driven economy. They moved away from market-driven economy. They went to a computer age. They moved away from computer age. Now they are in AI. So at every stage when we are trying to perfect a system, they dabaru the whole thing and move up. And so we now abandon what we're trying to perfect and trying to chase after them. So what I'm trying to say is that except we're indigenous, except we're novel in our thinking, we will not grow up. So that brings me to what the Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing to Nigeria. And I've said this, I have no apology about it. I work with Adeboye Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I know him very well. I know his pedigree, I know how he works. Sometimes I picture into how he reasons. I've come to give him credit. And I've said it, God forbid, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after his 8 years by the grace of God, if he cannot fix Nigeria, then we're in trouble. We almost find it impossible for anybody to fix this country. I know the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a person, they don't come often. They come in a millennium. They come in a generation. They come like one in 100 years. And once you miss them in that 100 years, you will have to wait for another 100 years to get their type. We miss that all. So, except we allow Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do his best, which we pray will ultimately be good for us as a country. And then somebody can pick up. He's putting in his best, but then the backlash are much. Today, his criticisms, we must criticize.
Yes.
Because that's what propels the government to
do
really
well.
achieve the more. But then, can't we engage in constructive criticisms? When you are saying this thing is bad, can you give me an alternative? Can you give me a solution? Okay, now this is what you are doing, government is bad. Why don't you try it this way? But we are quick to condemn. Those who will condemn like years back are the people we are going back to and wanting to see them as Messiah. Those who ruin our economy. Those who privatized all our public enterprise and sold them to their cronies and made billions of money, trillions of money, and they are now living in affluence and turn the people into abject poverty. They are the ones that want to salvage the country. So Nigeria must be wise up. We must wisen up. Somebody said he's always passing through, somebody is always sitting by the roadside, and he goes to him to tap his wisdom. It was the one that was giving him all the advices. And when he needs it, he will go back there. Does it not make sense that that person that is on the road that you are going to advise this, did you make effort to take him out of the road? So it pays you to go and be going back to him. Why is he still on the road?
Yeah.
As a leader, you are supposed to have taken him off the road and tap his knowledge into much more useful purposes.
Yes.
Those are the people who are struggling to rule us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
They ran a state. How well did they run that state? They didn't conduct elections, local government elections for so many years. And they're the one preaching democracy. So don't you have to look at the antecedents of people who wants to govern us to see how well have they done in their past? How well were they able to transform their state when they governed just a single state? If you cannot govern a single state and transform that state into a model state, you don't want to govern the whole country. I look at the block of people who are doing, they call it, I call them pollution. I see them as pollution.
The different parties that are merging?
Yes. What did they say? They are saying they are doing.
Is it? What is it called? I think it's coalition.
Is that pollution? Yes.
They are just coming together to form another party. Coalition. Same people.
They are saying they are doing coalition. But they will soon collide. Because they are birds of different feathers who cannot flock together. Now they are trying to see some matchmake. Okay, if we choose this one as presidential candidate, we can choose this one as vice president. But for crying out loud, they will soon meet their Waterloo.